the time kind of came where I figured, maybe it's time for a bookshelf tour. So this isn't going to be amazing. This is essentially the Redman MTV Cribs version of a bookshelf tour. But I'm gonna just show you what's up with it right here. Hold on. It's pretty dark in here, but who cares? Hey, I have just these 3 rows that I fill up with books, and this little area is with stuff I got from the library that I'm not really finna throw back yet. And the rest is like my clothes and then CDs. Remember CDs, kids? Yeah. When I was 18, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna be able to listen to these forever. Now I don't own a CD player, so figure that. Since these are kind of, I guess, boring or something, you know what I mean? What I'm really finna do is just not go through every single one of them, but just kind of pull out the more interesting pieces and talk about it out. There's enough in here to fill out a video longer than it needs to be, so I'm gonna just do it like that, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, let's start with some of the sillier things in here. Here's an odd little piece I've had for a very long time that I haven't really knocked out yet. This is Mastering Astral Projection by Robert Bruce and Brian Mercer. It's all about getting out of your body and stuff. I have the same thing with that book that I have with like music theory books. For the most part, I can flip through the entire book and understand the instruction as being somewhat remedial to me, like I know what to do here. But then there's a point where some kind of catharsis is supposed to happen that I assume only you experience through practice. So that'll happen when that happens. Here's one I get. I usually get my books from the library, and I usually think, well, I might never see this book again at this price, because usually they'll be like, from 25 cents to like, what I think the most expensive I have is $8, and that's like a glossy picture book. I think they expect you to resell it or something. But anyway, this is one I got from the library because I was like, I might never see it again at this price, and I kind of want to read it because it's freaking Vanity Fair. Like there's a magazine called Vanity Fair that I see all the time. So what's up with that? It's actually a really clean copy, but this is another freaking fatty. It's 951 pages, so kind of crazy. Here it is. This is my copy of Demons or the Possessed or Devils. The translation doesn't quite match up from the Russian. This says about like 694. I also have the entirety of the Amoral Trilogy, baby. I think that's what it's called, the Amoral Trilogy. Art Seduction, Laws of Power, Strategies of War, you know what I mean? I borrowed this from a good friend and then never returned it because that's the kind of friend I am. Oh, here's a book you might never ever see. It's called The Conspiracy of Credit by Corey P. Smith. He is either a credit genius or a credit terrorist. This book breaks down the history of the 3 credit companies, Equifax, Experian, and whatever the other one is. So this is actually the first book that I did a review on, but I did it on my other channel where I think I have like either my vlogs or my music or both or something, but I didn't throw it up on this channel because the review like sucked. Like it was my first review. I wasn't finna like repost it. It's an okay book. I don't hate it, but there's a thing about Asimov. Like if you know how the book ends, like that's the joy of Asimov. Like there's no fun in reading an Asimov story, but understanding Asimov's idea, that's where the value of the book is. So I feel like I'd probably be cheating y'all if I explained away the ending of an Asimov book. All these other books I really don't mind because the process of reading it gives me joy with these books, and rereading it is even better than reading it the first time. To reread this book would be a waste of my time. I wouldn't. Here's a good book. Actually, my brother got this book for his, I think, architecture class back in like 2006, 2007 or something. And I read it when I entered college, and this was like pornographic. It's really just like a sexy book. The way that she describes the senses, it's like installing the program. So I only just started this book, Savage Beauty. I picked it up very recently at Goodwill, because the person's name of the biography is Edna St. Vincent Millay, and I have something of a unhealthy crush on another person named Saint Vincent. So yeah, that's the exact reason I picked it up. I'm not proud of it. I'm just telling you about me. But also, just reading the first couple of first couple of chapters, this book is super, like, you know, well written. When a book is well written, it takes away the whole like chore part of reading books. Since I enjoyed this so much just off the rip, I found this at my local library, which was her first book. This is about Scott Fitzgerald's wife, Zelda Fitzgerald. Okay, this is like, you know, girls from the 20s. It's funny they have two different publishers, but it's just, you know, the same person, very similar move, but one's Random House and one's Harper Perennial. Now we're getting into some heavy hitters, babe. I've got a picture book of my favorite visual artist, John Singer Sargent. Not a singer, not a sergeant. Okay, so this is like all about like his work, how he works, his life and stuff. This guy is just my freaking hero. Like, he steals their souls when he makes art, man. I've also got this one at someone's yard sale. So it's kind of big on the shelf. It's called Pin Up, Great American Pinups. And this is kind of like the style of art that I do. There's actually one guy, I have a few of his stuff. Yeah, this is him, Rolf Armstrong. Because he uses pastels, soft pastels. I use soft pastels, except he's like amazing, and I'm like, I can, you know, just barely approach like his level of, like, I don't know, detail. I think I did a copy of one of the paintings in here. I'm showing you all the pictures because I freaking love these. I have like a passion for like fashion illustration, you know what I mean? Like, I do that a lot. So here we go, Vogue covers from like the earliest covers from the 1800s, know what I mean? Look at that, look at that nonsense, man. Those were mags for real. The 20s, getting different, okay, turning into 30s. And then around the 50s, you know what I mean, you're getting pictures instead of that stuff. 70s, starting to just be, you know, faces alone, nothing but faces. And then people who you know who they are, all that stuff. And then in the end, there's like posters. And all this I got at the freaking library for like, what, 10 bucks or something stupid like that? Okay, so here's a weirdie. I got this at a shop called Half Price Book. It's a fiction novel by Deepak Chopra. And I thought, hey, that would be interesting. Oh, this was on a TBR. So I did officially DNF this, because whatever like spiritual message he was trying to put together there in this book, I've got like other books that do it without the nonsense. I was kind of reading deeper than I needed to, or whatever excuse will fit for me DNFing this book. Just insert that one. This is actually a signed copy I got, maybe for like $2. I got an official signed copy of Miracles Happen by Brian Rice and Amy Weiss. Check it out, man. Yeah. So here's a booky look that I heard a lot about in the 10s, whatever that decade is called. But this was published in the 70s, called Gödel, Escher, Bach. Supposed to be like really amazing. It's like 700 or so pages. I'll read it. I mean, I feel like I'm supposed to, you know. If I don't, I'd be probably robbing myself of some stuff, some important stuff. Here's The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm only like, a third of the way through it. Of course, I heard about this through Think and Grow Rich. Cats. Dude was like, this was important. And I mean, I kind of use like what I've learned so far. I continue to use like 10% of what I get. I just stow away and just don't touch it, because what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna eat that money and poop it out if I don't stow it away. Okay, so here's a recent a copy of War and Peace that looks like a VHS setup, but it has these like pictures like from a freaking BBC special or something. Check it, y'all. These two things right here is like 1,400 pages. And I was saying like I gotta read these giant books. Well, here we go, I'm on it, yo. Okay, so here's a weirdie. I wanna be a musician. I'm kind of an idiot because I'm terrible at practicing and doing things with my life, but here is a book I've had since 2016 when I was like a junkie living in a recording studio. Yeah, I got this book called The Touring Musician by Hal Galper. He's a jazz pianist, professional jazz pianist. And this book was published in like 2000-ish. And he explains all about booking tours and all the stuff he needs to know and things you need to plan for. And he's talking about faxes and stuff. You ever had to make a fax in your life? Have you ever in your life experienced a moment where you needed to turn off your phone so that your printer could work? Oh, here's a classic. Anyone know what this is? Any takers? Anybody? I picked this up and I'm almost certain that this was a textbook in my high school. So when I saw it in the library, I was like, you know what? Let's look this thing up and haven't even, I mean, I kind of cracked it open, but I just kind of have it for reference in case I need to write something that requires like proper grammar. Now we've got our new classics by E.L. James, 50 Shades of Grey. It's popular for a reason. I'd better, not be stupid and figure out what the deal is. But also I hear that it doesn't accurately represent BDSM culture, but also like, what does that mean, right? Like, do they have a code of conduct that everyone goes under? Like, it's what, smutty? Yeah, of course I'll read smut. Are you kidding me? That's my jam. Also, Sammy the Ghoul, the underboss. He doesn't look anything like this now. He looks like a freaking toad monster. I think he still sells ecstasy out here in Arizona. Something like that, that's right here. A couple of my newest cops from the library. Remember I was talking about Infinite Jest? Yeah, babe, I got Infinite Jest. Look at that. It's freaking, it's a walloper. It's like 1,007 something, 1,000 or so pages. Gonna knock that out and tell you all about it. Man, that guy's smart. He's super smart. Okay. Also, we have Tone Wolf, Bonfire of the Vanities. This is, a reasonable 600 or so pages. We got Uncle Tom's Cabin. I feel like I should read that. And I'm really glad I picked this up too. This is kind of my reading level for reading music. This is like simple, elaborate piano music. I think it was like $5 or $3. It's really pretty lit feels. But it's just very easy piano music. I write music, by the way, if you ever heard a beat in any of my videos, I did that. I think the only beat I didn't do is the one from my most popular video. This is like my reading level. Like I can read this and then like hear it in my head to a greater or lesser degree. So this is actually a really good book for me to have. So that's gonna kind of do it for me with like the interesting books in my bookshelf tour. Everything else that I'm like, that I have over like there that I'm reading right now, or don't really matter, So that's what time it is over here. Okay, let's do the like, share, and subscribe because BookTube or whatever, and I want to be a popular kid. So, alrighty, yeah, I think that's it, yo.